Absolutely. Are you ready for our next segment, John?
Damn right I am. I'm pumped after that 30-second hot seat. What do you got for me this week?
Completely changing the tone because we were just talking about very serious matters, very serious. I would even go as far as to say as matters that reach beyond just the WWE into sort of social matters and equality and that kind of stuff. So I want to change it up. I want to get a little more lighthearted, all right?
All right.
Who, in your opinion, if the primetime players keep the tag team championships and the New Day moves on to bigger and better things, who do you think the PTP's next opponent should be? And to go even further than that, who do you think should finally, eventually, whenever it should happen, take the championships off of PTP? You have 30 seconds. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Go.
All right. I guess just as filler, we can make heel Matadors the number one contenders. You know, maybe just get an upset win. Obviously, they wouldn't win the championships. Who would eventually win them? I want to say Harper and Rowan, but I don't know how long Rowan's going to be out, and I want to make it realistic. You know what? I'll say New Day eventually regains them for a second reign, but it won't be within this stint. It'll be in another program down the road, maybe even involving multiple teams. So that's my answer to that.
Do you want to know what my really simple answer to this question is?
What's that?
The team that's going to take the titles off of the PTP, if New Day doesn't do it at the next title defense, will be a team that isn't even a thing right now.
Interesting.
It's going to be a thrown together team or an NXT call up, maybe the Vaudevillains, I don't know. It's going to be a team that doesn't even exist on the main roster right now.
You know what? You're probably right at this rate, because we were just talking about the state of the tag team division, and it seems like whenever we talk about the state of the tag division, something good really comes together. I feel like the last time that happened was the formation of Kid and Cesaro as a team.
Yep, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, it might have been like a month or two after we had that discussion, but yeah, I agree that it's almost coincidental the way that it works.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
yeah.
I'm even thinking, you know, I don't know what team you could throw together. Maybe Luke Harper finds somebody out. Like, that's another thing I've been thinking. Maybe Luke Harper would find another partner.
Well, I mean, we've already been talking to maybe Harper Cesaro.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was your original idea, and then they actually did have a series of matches together, which I just found hilarious.
It's funny, too, because I brought it up just last week, either before or during Raw, and then they ended up having a match on Superstars, a match on Main Event, and I think they had like another match or two at house shows just last week, and they haven't touched since.
Right. You know, if I felt like Baron Corbin was more ready, I'd stick him and Luke Harper together. I think that has an interesting look. I'd dig it, that team.
Baron Corbin's the lone wolf, and you're trying to put him in a tag team.
Yeah, the irony. But yeah, I mean,
I guess I should have realized that when I was trying to stick him in a tag team with Bull, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know, but I definitely think you're onto something. That's a team that we haven't seen yet.
Yep, that's my guess.
Oh my
God. Would have been my official 30-second hot seat. Screw you. Like, I'll tell you who's going to win the titles from them. No one we know of.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If we were to go by NXT teams, I'll tell you what. Since we're kind of playing that game and you brought in the scope, I'll say it. Blake and Murphy, I think.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Because PTP are faces, so they need to lose them to heels, obviously. Vaudevillains are kind of babyface right now, even though they could heal at any point. But yeah, Blake and Murphy.
That so much. They're still the tag team champions in NXT. Good God.
I know. And I just feel like they'll go from NXT tag team champions to WWE tag team champions.
Oh, that would be so amazing.
Yeah, in fact, I'm calling it. Yeah, Blake and Murphy. In fact, it could be sooner than you think, because I don't
bring up Alexa Bliss with them too.
Yeah, because she could do a valet thing for a while, even though I'm not saying like she's bad in the ring. Like
they could introduce them at like the same way they introduced Eminem as like a trio. Like, you don't even have to have her compete for months on Raw if you don't want her to. She can just be their valet. She can just be kind of like the eye candy at ringside that comes out with them, kind of like what Melina was for Morrison and Mercury.
Absolutely. In fact, guys, I'm kind of doing a mental sketch right now. I mean, we know that next NXT we have, Colin Cassidy, Enzo Amore versus the Vaudevillains #1 contenders match. I fully expect Cassidy and Enzo to win that match.
Oh,
fully expect them to.
I'm scared, dude.
But here's my thing, though. If I'm right and they do that, I expect them to go all the way this time, and they actually beat Blake and Murphy for the NXT Tag Team titles.
What if they don't?
If they don't,
What if the Vaudevillains win?
first of all, I mark out. Just gonna put that out into the universe. Then I don't know after that, because then I would think that Blake and Murphy retain, because I feel like the right to take that reign from Blake and Murphy belongs to Enzo and Cass.
Didn't we feel that with Sami Zayn and Bo Dallas too, though, and Neville ended up being the transition between the two?
Yeah, you're right. You're very right about that. But let me just put it to you this way: whether it's Enzo and Cass, that I'm still believing that it is. I don't think Murphy and Blake's reign is much longer for this world.
Right.
I think that they're going to drop it and they're going to go to the main roster, and I think almost immediately they would.
Dude, I can't believe I didn't even think of them. That's so perfect.
Yeah, you know what? I'm officially calling it Blake and Murphy for the next WWE Tag Team Champions.
Oh my god.
If they can survive the New Day at Battle.
Is that anything like how the Ascension is going to take the titles off the Usos?
Honestly, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because with the Ascension, I don't know why they were so committed to making that a thing that was going to be dead on arrival. But with Blake and Murphy, I think they have such a look and a brashness that I think they could just immediately work with and transition.
A theme song?
And a theme song. And here's the thing. This is not to be insulting to Blake and Murphy, but I mean, how much can you really take away from these guys to ruin? Like, these guys don't really come in with a lot of glossy packaging, besides maybe the music and the leapfrogging, but that, that's nothing like built into the character.
Dude, I want them on Raw so bad now. They're so good.
They are, and that's why I feel like if anybody's going to beat PTP, that isn't Harper and Rowan, which again were my lock for this injury happened. To me, it's got to be Blake and Murphy now, because I cringe at the thought of a heel Matadores doing it. I cringe at the thought, not necessarily of New Day doing it 2 times, but you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, and yes, this is biased, but I'm actually more excited about New Day moving on from the tag titles and trying to be a trio in other matters. Like, I just think about Big E versus Ryback now for that IC championship, and my heart's more emotionally invested in that than them taking another trip with the tag titles. Mm-hmm. So to me, get an NXT team. Who's the best NXT team as heels? Blake and Murphy have such a great look, and Blake doing the stuff like the pigtails in his hair and the different hairstyles, and just how
yes.
good Buddy Murphy is.
Yeah.
Dude, they could have a great program.
Oh my god.
And hell, after they win the tag titles, you can reignite an old NXT feud, do them in Lucha Dragons, build them.
And that's a crazy thing too. That's a crazy thing too, is that like this whole time when Blake and Murphy have had the tag titles, I've been thinking, well, eventually they're going to lose the titles and they're going to have singles opportunities where Murphy is going to absolutely shine as a singles star, and maybe even in a year or two get an opportunity at the NXT title. They might not even be in NXT that long. I didn't even think about that as a possibility.
I don't think.
But it would be perfect for them to get like the Eminem treatment, where they show up, they win the titles really quickly, they just get all this heat because of it. Like, I love that idea so much.
I mean, look, one of my favorite interviews actually came from the guy that we've been ragging on lately for his views on women, Booker T, where he said the best experience you can get is being in a tag team. If WWE is determined to kind of fix their division, but they don't want to, like, rush guys at the same time and kind of ruin them, bring up a team. Now, granted, totally misfired with the Ascension. Nobody's going to deny that. But again, I just have a different feeling about Blake and Murphy, because it's not like they have this over-the-top aesthetic. It's not like anything like that they can really take away and pull apart.
Everything else about them is pretty over the top, though.
It is, but I mean, it's just mannerisms and entrance based. Like, I feel like personality-wise, I mean, what are you really going to tell these guys? Oh, go and kiss babies and shake hands. No, they've got a natural brashness and arrogance to them that I feel like WWE would be crazy not to run with, which is why I'm actually scared that they wouldn't.
But yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I have a confidence in Blake and Murphy, and I know that's not necessarily what my confidence should be. It's got to be in the booking and everything. But yeah, I think Blake and Murphy are going to be your next WWE Tag Team Champions. So.
Man. All right. Well, now that I'm hyped up for literally no reason, because it's never going to actually happen, let's close this thing out, because that was our last segment of the night. By the way, this episode of TwitWow has gone on for over 2 hours. So.
Insanity. I know. But all right,
better,
guys,
more entertaining than the first 2 hours of Raw, though.
Truth, right there. All right, guys. This has been Raw. This has been TwitWow, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. let me throw Ashton's 30-second hot seat right back at you. Who do you think is going to dethrone PTP? Are they meant to be transitional champions? Will Blake and Murphy debut on the main roster soon? I mean, where do you think their future on NXT is? Do you think they're going to be separate singles runs, or do you think the packaging as a team is a long-term thing for these guys? And be sure to talk about all the segments tonight from Raw down in the comments below. We'd love to know your thoughts. Also, be sure to take the conversation over to Puytov, which yesterday celebrated its 5-year anniversary. So, yeah, guys, I mean, it's an amazing group. So many passionate wrestling fans. You know you're going to want to get in on it. I mean, the following Sunday, it is going to be Battleground Predictions. Maybe one of you can be the next Puytov World Champion. Try your hand at it. But I get it. Maybe you're like, John, stop pressuring me. That's not cool, man. I like my solitude. I like to keep my interactions minimal. Don't worry. Ashton's got you covered. He's made a TwitWow subreddit. You can see all of our episodes there. You can comment on all the episode threads there. Or, if you'd like, you can start any thread that you'd like related to wrestling, posed at Ashton or myself, or both of us, because a conversation, as many people as possible, that's the best kind. So, yeah, be sure to take the conversation there, and we will see you again for our Lucha Underground review, where, personally, I'm looking forward to how Johnny Mundo replies to the just absolutely fallacious claims of Alberto El Patron, because you may be the boss, but this is Johnny Mundo's world. So until then, tune in, and peace out.